So we're going to talk about morning business. Very exciting. We're going to continue today with exciting topics. Finance. Exciting, eh? Now, seriously, just kidding. We're the number people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We don't have pretty slides, but we have swag. Yeah. So I think it was mentioned. You know, Creative Mornings is the idea is not to make a profit, but there is money involved. There's no such thing as a free breakfast, and someone has to pay for it sometime. So what we did, and maybe our first advice is in line with what Mark said, but we don't have the truth. Mark said, get in alliance with a nonprofit. We created one. But I think what we want to talk about is that we run that nonprofit like it's a business. And we'll tell you a bit about how we go about this, but call it a social business if you want. But I think what we decided from the get-go is we were not in the mindset of organizing 12 events a year. We were in the mindset of organizing a business, a social business, a not-for-profit that would cater to a community through, to start with, 12 events a year. But the business caters to the needs of a community, and that's where we work from. So Patrice will tell you a bit about how we go about our sponsors. We do call them sponsors, but you can call them any other word that suits you.
Thank you. So to fuel that project that we have and to organize all these events, we needed money, obviously. Montreal chapter has now operating budget of around $125,000 a year, and thank you. And we're gonna announce soon that another $25,000 from the city of Montreal. So we're really proud that the community is behind us, and that we've achieved to build an ecosystem of sponsors around our chapters. So two things about sponsorships, building an ecosystem. So we have software engineering firms behind us. We have the City of Montreal, as I mentioned. We have other nonprofit organizations that we exchange gifts and participation together. So we have a lot of partners, ad agencies, and they all come together. Some of them sponsors $25,000 a year, other sponsors $10 or $1,000 per event, other just provide gifts, and that ecosystems allow us to have these great events and to face the challenges that Steve was mentioning about translating content, etc. Second thing, engage people. I think the folks from Vancouver mentioned it earlier, but engage the individuals from your sponsors organizations or your partner organizations in the event. So when we receive a call and someone wants to sponsor or help the organizations, me and Louis-Félix, we go to see them, and before we start talking about money, we invite them into the community, we invite them to the events, and so basically no sponsors or partners provide things before they come to the communities, and they see and they meet people, and these individuals, they feel the vibe, they feel the good energy, and then they go back to their organizations, and they are the best ambassadors that we have.
So, as I said, I think see your organization, your local organization, not as just an event organizing crew, because then you're caught selling sponsorship slots in an event. Say, oh, we have a breakfast. It costs us $500. Can you give me $500 for my breakfast? And then every month you'll be hunting for someone to give you $500 for your breakfast. Whereas the experience to be a sponsor, to be part of the community that you're building, is worth more than the value of the breakfast. Actually, whatever you paid for the breakfast doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. The idea is to sell not the value of the things that you give, but the value that you bring to the sponsor, to the partners. And as Patrice said, the one best thing that we can do is to involve the sponsors, bring them, the people who work for the potential sponsors, bring them to the event and get them to like the event as much as the people who love your event, and they will be your ambassadors. They will not just try to buy your event as a media space where they can put their logo on. They'll actually want your event to succeed, and they will want to talk about it. So they will be the sponsors, not for you to talk about them, but for them to be able to talk about you. And I will tell you the Cassette story. Mike mentioned that Cassette is a very big independent ad agency that started in Quebec City, that is across Canada, has offices in the US also. They just got McDonald's account for the Midwest, and they're opening a big office in Chicago. We talked about that yesterday. So the Cassette story started with a friend of mine who's responsible for Cassette's PR nationwide. She said she came to a few events and she really liked them. So she wrote to me, I think it was early January, and we didn't have a venue for our January event, and I think we barely had a speaker. So she writes to me, I'm working late at the office, she writes to me, she says, what if I wanted to bring a few people from Cassette at your event? And I say, well, usually we reserve a couple spaces for a couple tickets for our sponsors. Do you have $1,000 lying around? I just say that. She says, are you serious? Are you looking for sponsors? And we had like no money in the account for January. We had no venue, no nothing. She says, let me talk to someone. I'll come back to you tomorrow. 2 days later, I had a meeting at Cassette. We're sitting down with like the head of sponsorships and everything, and we're talking. And they say, we're going to give you $25,000 for the year. Is that okay? I said, what do you want in return? They said, we only want to be able to tell our clients that we're supporting Creative Mornings in Montreal. We think it's an important initiative, it is essential to this city, and we want to have the right to say that we support it. And I said, can we have other sponsors? I said, can we have other sponsors? They said, yeah, sure, we don't want exclusivity, we just want to be able to say it's there. So every month, Cassette brings 30 people, of their employees, of their clients, of their contacts, to our events. They're there, they talk about it, they tweet about it, they put it on Facebook, they do, Facebook, they draw tickets every month because our tickets sell out in a couple of seconds or minutes. So they draw tickets and stuff like that. They're involved, they love Creative Mornings, and they're paying to be able to share the love, which is kind of cool. And sure enough, that Cassette love spread across Canada, and the 25,000 they gave us became like 50,000 nationwide, and they helped start the Quebec chapter, which will be one of the next 10 chapters to start in November. And so thanks to that, we really built a community, and it's like that with every sponsor. Your sponsors have to love your event, have to feel that what you're doing is essential to your city, and through that, it's not about selling them and say, what can I give you, banner, tweets, and stuff like that. It's about what can you give me and help me make this happen. So it's really what we want to focus on. And what I like about this Creative Mornings, and just to tie into what Tina said, each and every one of your organizations is a little microcosm, local microcosm of Creative Mornings. So bring people into your community, be it volunteers, your co-organizers, your photographers, your sponsors, people who make breakfast, bring them in and help them be part of the community and grow that community. And if each and every one of us try different things, then we can share the good ones and we can share our horror stories, say, don't try that, it doesn't work. And then, we just, like we say in Montreal, fail fast and follow the fun, like do whatever's fun and follow that. So yeah, that's pretty much what we had to say.
Maybe another, a story about learning. Don't try this. When we started to have the sponsorship program, we sat down and we tried to make something quite fun, but also a bit corporate structured. And we said, okay, if you give us that amount, it will give you this and this and that. And we failed.
Gold, silver, bronze, platinum,
well, we had
sapphire.
20 names. We had Cocorico or
cool names, but that was
Early Birds. And it failed. So August topic, failure, it failed. We didn't succeed. People asked us to be quite a corporate, and we wouldn't fit in their little square boxes. So now we go to them, and we're asking them for what they want to give to the community. And sometimes it's tons. This is an example where we had some paint, and people would put their hands on the wall. We have different kind of relationship with these partners, but they need to be engaged and participate in the community, and they need to be creative themselves in the way they sponsor us.
Yeah. So get people involved in your community. Let them play. Right? Let them play with what you have. Let them play with Creative Mornings. Let them explore. Let them take Creative Mornings somewhere you don't know where it can go. It'll help you innovate. And by doing that, each of our chapters, we can all pull our weight and together grow this thing into an amazing network of communities, because that's what you're building. You are curators for your community, and the finances should follow that. That is the business you're in. You're in the business of building communities in all the great creative cities of the world. You're not in the business of organizing 12 events a year. You're in the business of getting people together, getting them to talk. And what I'd like to say is, if we can share, if we can start communicating with our communities, it'll be much easier to find global sponsors and find the cassettes of this world to pour in money into the different chapters and also into the global organization.
Let's build a temple.